Hello guys, this is Julia and Julia's Knitting. Grab your favorite drink and let's spend some time together. These 2 weeks have been kind of awesome, except one thing. A cat is staying with us. It's our friend's cat. They are on holiday and she always stays with us. But this time, she's always kind of she's a night creature and she lives at night. She's active at night. And this time she is extra active. She is extremely active. Probably it's because of the summer. I don't know. I'm not sure. But it means we don't get any sleep. Well, not any sleep, but we don't get enough sleep. We don't get our necessary sleep. And this is a very bad thing. We both, my husband and I, depend on sleep. You know, some people can sleep for 4 hours and then be okay, I'll sleep later. That's not us. We need our 8-hour sleep every day. And this is messing with our schedule. And my husband has to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning every day. So that's a problem too. I don't have to wake up, but I like to wake up early, so that's a problem for me too. And furthermore, I like to go to bed early and sleep all night. I depend on sleep completely. If sleep hasn't happened, it's a problem. It's a very big problem for me. I can manage something considering food or the schedule, sports, being active and so on. But sleep is the one thing that is, I need to go to bed at 10 o'clock. And I feel the best if I wake up at about 6 o'clock in the morning. So that's a problem. But otherwise, it's kind of awesome. I think that that's because of the crafting jar. I think the crafting jar is the best thing that I have thought of in my whole crafting career, let's call it that, because that gives me structure, that gives me productivity, that gives me somehow even inspiration. I'm not sure how it works. If there are psychologists, therapists here, maybe you will tell me, but this is kind of created so that I can pull out my my task and I don't think about it, I just do it. But at the same time, maybe because I don't have to think about it, that gives me enough space to accept it. Okay, I'm doing double mittens in this case, for example, and I don't need to think about it if I want to do that. If I have yarn, I don't have to think about anything. And that's why sometimes I have an opportunity to, sorry, the dog is barking. I have an opportunity to enjoy this. Because there are no projects here that I don't want to make at all. They are all kind of, I like them all. So I don't focus on the things that are difficult or that often stop me from getting something done. I just make it and it's quite inspiring. I feel like I say it every time we meet, but I mean it. I have never been as productive as I am in this period of my life when I'm making videos and when I'm using my crafting jar. So the last time we met, it will be quite difficult because a thing happened that kind of mixed something up, but I'll try. Amongst other things, I showed you cotton towels, and there were 3 of them, and I finished them, but now there are 2. Why, you ask? Well, because I had an opportunity to send a package to my family. That's not always possible for a number of reasons, but I had this opportunity and I used it, and that's why I chose 1 towel and added it to my package for my niece. I remember saying that in the last video, that I might give it to my niece. And I was thinking about, this being a set of towels. I was always thinking about them as, like, I either leave the whole set for myself, the whole 3 towels, or I give them. But then I thought I could give just 1 or 2 of them, or I might give 3 towels to 3 people, for example. So I thought it after thinking, I don't know if she'll like them, I don't know if she'll use them. And then I thought just 1 is not as much pressure, right? It's not as much work. So if I give her just 1 and she doesn't use it, that's better than than if she doesn't use the whole 3 of them. Also, she doesn't feel this pressure, when there are 3 of them and you have to rotate them somehow, but when you have just 1, it's, I don't know, once a month you put it out and you use it and you have fun with it, and then you use your usual towels that you are more used to. For me, it sounds kind of amazing because I know that she loves me and she wants to kind of use the things that I make for her, but at the same time, it will not mean that she has to, that she feels obliged. So that makes sense. And as soon as I thought of it, it kind of clicked, So I, folded it, I added a little ribbon. It was very cute. At least 1 is staying with me, for me. But to be honest, I'm thinking both of them. But I'm making a mental note to myself that this is a great present. It is functional. It looks amazing. Like when you fold it and you add a little ribbon, you can leave this edge. It's amazing. I made a little roll out of it, and it looks great. It looks not handmade, like, not bad handmade. It looks good handmade. And it doesn't take too long. And also, well, kind of spoiler alert, you can make it shorter, you can make it narrower and shorter. And this way you get a dishcloth or a pot holder, and it looks very nice. You can make like a set of these, 2 or 3, different colors, maybe the same, but it's a great gift. I'm repeating this because next time when you want to make something for someone, consider this. It's called Sweet Waves dishcloth and Sweet Waves towel on the hobby website. If you just type in Sweet Waves, I think you will get both of them. And so it brings us to the next project, and this is a dishcloth that I made out of scraps that I had. I just took all the cotton scraps I had of the same, weight, and made this. I'm thinking to give it to my stepdaughter. I'm looking at another present for her, the embroidery I made, the cross stitch. This is not for sure yet. I think it will depend on several things, but it is definitely a present because these colors don't match my kitchen or my apartment. So it's definitely a present for someone. And it was also very fun to make because you change the colors each row. And this, if you do something, you know that this keeps things interesting. The only thing that I have to mention, that you have an enormous quantity of ends to weave after you make it. I weaved some of them, like half of them, while I was attaching the thread, but the other end is still there. So that was not fun. Sweet Waves tea towel and Sweet Waves dishcloth. And while we are in the kitchen area, although these are for my bathroom, here is one more project for the kitchen. This is Hexi Puff Coasters by Coaster. This is one coaster. This is a Hexi Puff coaster by TL Yarn Crafts, Tony Lipsy. I love her, she's a great crocheter. And she has this pattern. I actually have made this pattern already. A couple of years ago, I made Christmas presents to a lot of people. And one of them was, not one of them, probably several people got sets of these coasters from me. Those that I made several years ago were very, very thick. They were definitely for, you know, holding something hot or putting something hot on them. This is more light, a more light version. It is just a coaster. You could put something big on it, but not very hot. It's not thick enough and it has these holes in it, so it would be not safe. Also, as you can hear from the name, the pattern says to make puff stitches here, but I made just joined double crochets. To be honest, I just forgot. I just started making them just because, automatically, and noticed that on the third row, and the third row is 1, 2, 3 is here, and it's not that much of a work of my time, but it is some work sometimes, so I didn't feel like remaking it, and I thought that this looks amazing too. This one is kind of better in laying flat, so if that's important for the needs you have, just remember that. Otherwise, it's just a very cute, not a very difficult pattern. You get into it. It's not like all the same all the time. You have to pay attention, especially during the first rows, but you get the gist after a while, and the stitches are the same. Just pay attention to the increases and you'll be fine. A Hexi Puff Coaster by Tony Lipsy, TL Yarn Crafts. After that, I pulled some projects out of the crafting jar, and there were 4. And here is where it gets a little bit strange. Let's start with the volleyball keychains. This is strange because I don't have them on me, but I made them, I finished them. I made 4. There is an option to get a free pattern. There is an option to buy the pattern with no ads. There is also an option to buy a set of patterns of different balls for different sports, like a baseball, a football, I'm not sure right now. But I made volleyball keychains. I made volleyballs. They were this big. They were actually bigger than I was thinking, because the only yarn of the colors I needed, I found, was kind of thick. Not very thick, but thicker than it could be. So I made them, and I added them to this parcel that I sent home. I don't have them anymore. The pattern is very clear. It is not, you know what, it is simple to make, but it is not easy because of some things of arranging it. There is a phase of arranging that is kind of a pain in the ass. But because it is such a small project and it's fun and you always change the colors, you are doing something, it helps a lot, it's good. One of the 4 projects is done. But wait a second. The second one was a quilt potholder. And you know what? It is also done. It's, you know, I always say that I sew very badly. Not very badly, just badly. I knit well, I crochet okay, but I sew badly. Usually when I look at things I sewed, that's just amateur sewing. That's okay. But here, I think everyone will believe me that I sew badly. Because look at that. Now I wanted to kind of defend myself, because this line is okay. This one is more or less okay. This one is, it's not okay, but it's, I can forgive that. Like, it's bad, it's an amateur bad. Not bad, but amateur bad. But this, look at that. Look at this difference. It's about maybe 1.5 centimeters here, and it's 0 here. How this happened, you ask? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. I have my pattern. Okay, let's check. Does it fit? It's the amazing thing, because it seems that it is almost square, you know? The first thing I thought when I saw this, I thought that it was, you know, all crooked, but it's not. Maybe a little bit, but not a lot. So I still have no idea. The only theory I have is that I made this out of old shirts. And maybe there were part of the shorts, like, for example, this elbow part or somewhere here. Not maybe the elbow, but near elbow part. That was stretched. And so the fabric was not, you know, didn't have these straight lines anymore. And that's why it happened. Can't think of anything else. I've been watching a lot of quilting and patchwork videos lately, and I think I am getting ready to make something, to make a small quilt, to try a quilt. And maybe I want to know to take new fabrics so that they are definitely not stretched, and make this quilt just to make sure that I can do it well. You know, I want to make this pointy squares or triangles or rectangles, whatever, just to, you know, just to make something well, because I'm looking at it and it's, I don't know. That's okay, don't get me wrong. I am gonna use it and I am gonna love it. But, well, anyway, this was a pot holder, a quilt pot holder, and it's done. The second of the 4. The third was felt. Well, it was felt rabbits. But I don't know why I need more than one, so I made one. And I made it completely Easter themed. See, it's yellow. These colors scream Easter. At the same time, I will use it for Christmas. I will use it as a Christmas decoration, as a Christmas ornament, as a tree ornament. Because, well, first of all, I don't celebrate Easter. Second of all, I don't know how to use it. I don't like things like for Easter, what could you do? You could just put it somewhere, right? And I don't like it. There is dust being collected on them. I don't like it. So I think I'm gonna just use it as a Christmas ornament, and that's okay that these are Easter colors, just because. I also made a pattern for it. I just made a PDF out of it. If you need it, I will leave it in the description box. I will leave either the pattern or the link to the pattern. I will figure it out. So if you want, you could use it. It will be the same size, which is, if I'm not mistaken, about 7 centimeters high. Yes, 7 by 4. Yeah, that's about 7 by 4 centimeters. 7 by 4. Easter bunny. Are you counting? This is the 3rd finished project out of 4. I'm telling you, crafting jar, amazing. And this brings us to the last one, and I have started it. It's a kind of a bigger project. It's not big, but it's, well, it's not that easy. It's double mittens, meaning they are double-sided and they are double-layered. How it works is, I have already done this thing. How it works is I make 2 mittens like mirrored. Then I connect them and I put one into the other. That way I get 2 layers of the fabric, so they are warm, and you can make these layers the same color, or you can make them different colors, and that's what I'm doing. And this way I'm planning that you can wear them differently, and this way you get kind of 2 pairs of mittens in one. So these are the colors: a very, very dark blue-green, green-blue, and this one. There is no name of the color. That's color 23, but there's no name. It's kind of a caramel leather. This is Drops Nord Unicolor. 45% alpaca, 30% polyester, 25% wool. It's quite soft, not extremely soft, you know, sometimes it's like a cloud soft, not that. Good for mittens. In my opinion, I can wear scratchy wool, so I'm not an example. If you are sensitive, be careful. I made this one first. I saw what I liked and what I didn't. I am making adjustments that I need. I recounted everything, and I decided to leave it like that for a while and start the other one with another yarn, because that way I can compare them, right? So it is just going. It's for me, things like that go kind of slowly. Small needles, you have to like change it all the time. There's 3 needles. I never knit on 4 needles, I knit on 3. But even though I knit on 3 needles, I need to change them all the time, and it takes time. So it's kind of a long project, but for me at least. But it's kind of nice. I watched Shadow Hunters while making it, and today I'm going to choose something new. So the mittens are in progress. And this means that I will probably get another maybe 3 projects for myself, because I don't like having just one project, you know, in progress. It has been my kind of teenager dream to finish one and then start another. But then I understood that it wasn't laziness or, you know, disorganization that didn't let me do that. It was, sometimes you need, if you are making a sweater, you need a sock or a mitten or something small to bring with you to the doctor, for example, to wait in line. And when you're making a sock, you need a crochet project, because you get tired and your hands kind of get tired of the same position they're in. They need a change. A lot of stuff, you know? So in my opinion, 2 or 3 projects at the same time is okay. It's completely okay. So I'm gonna choose, okay, one is in progress. These are all done, and these are all in front of me. Oh, wait, there are more finished projects. Jesus, I finished so many projects. Oh, that's nice. These are finished too. Okay, I'm gonna choose, okay, knitting is blue, crochet is green, orange is sewing, right? Yellow is, what is yellow? Cross stitch. Cross stitch. Okay, I'm gonna choose 1 crochet, 1 sewing, and 1 knitting, so that I can plan for the future. I don't necessarily have to start making them. I can work on the mittens if I want to, but I can plan on making the next project and on buying yarn. If I need to buy yarn, if I need to get ready, I can do that. Okay, which one? Let's see, this one. Cat coasters for Kate. Okay, first of all, Kate, if you are watching this, act surprised. You know, I don't want to make it a present, like this is not enough of a present for a birthday, you know, so I will not keep it a secret. But I have these cat coasters saved on Pinterest, and when I saw them, I thought of my friend Kate, who loves cats, and she has a lovely house and a lovely cat. And these cat coasters include patchwork, probably quilting, I can't remember. So that's perfect. I will practice my patchwork skills. Don't worry, Kate, I will try to make it better than my pot holder. So this is a sewing project. Another one is, what did I say? Crochet. Okay, green. A t-shirt bowl. T-shirt meaning that I made some yarn out of old t-shirts. I think I showed it to you. So I have three kind of dark t-shirts, grey, black and dark green, and 2 white t-shirts. That's why this one is bigger than those ones. So I am doubting it, because now I'm looking at it, it seems a little bit too thin, and I don't know where to put this bowl. But then I'm thinking, this will be a nice practice of making yarn out of t-shirt, of making something out of this yarn next. And what I'm thinking now, I can use this white as an additional color and mix it with, for example, grey and black, and this will be a border or something, or, you know, to mix them somehow. If they are too thin, I can use 2 strands of yarn, right? This will be a nice lesson for me. And I will note how wide I cut this this yarn. I think it was 2.5 centimeters. And if I want to cut it wider the next time. The last project I want to grab is knitting, and there are just 2. A yellow blanket for brother. I'm sorry, I'm gonna read another one. Fingerless gloves. Okay, I hate both of them. Okay, first of all, a yellow blanket for brother. I'm doubting it. I'm not sure if he needs one. This was an idea when he moved to a new apartment. I was thinking about giving him a housewarming gift, a blanket, a yellow blanket, because he has this beautiful yellow couch there in the living room. But I don't know, the style of the apartment, his style, it's not homey, cozy, you know, vibes. It's quite brutal, I don't know if this blanket fits there at all. And the knitted blanket, I don't know. I don't think he needs one. So this is gonna, you know what, I'm not gonna put it back into the jar because I have to think about that. I'm not sure if I need to make it at all. And fingerless gloves is, I hate it because I started them like many times. I showed them to you probably not this year, but I remade them several times. You know what, probably I will make these mittens and then I will use the pattern or the concept of these mittens when I finish them on the fingerless gloves. That makes sense. Okay, this way I have three projects. They're okay, they're not like the most inspiring, but I will be happy when I make them. I will be happy, I know that. And this means that there is only one thing to share for today, and it's the book of the week. And this week's book of the week are 2 books. I started this one first. This is a book by Arto Paasilinna. It's one of the famous and respected writers of Finland. Kylmät hermot, kuuma veri, cold nerves, hot blood. I am reading it. How much did I read? Maybe a quarter. I am reading it, but I don't know. I feel a lot of resistance. When I read one chapter, I am kind of involved. I want to read the next, but to get into it, I need so much energy, so much time. It's strange. A lot of resistance. I don't know why. That's why at some point I thought, well, that's not reading, and that's strange. And I started preparing for my trip to Paris in July and started reading A Movable Feast by Ernest Hemingway. I'm trying to remember if I had read anything by Hemingway, and the only thing I could remember is starting to read The Old Man and the Sea when I was a student, but I didn't finish it. It was kind of, I couldn't finish it. I shall try it later again. I'm going to Paris. I have been there a couple of times, but I was very young, and the things I cared about then were different things, not all the different things, but different. And now I want to kind of prepare for this trip by reading A Movable Feast. I think I read 3 chapters. Oh my god. And this is, I can't say I'm loving it, you know. I have big expectations from Hemingway, but if I didn't know about him, if I didn't know who he was, I would probably not guess that he was one of the greatest writers. But I just read about 3 chapters, I think, so that's not that might not be the case when I finish it or when I'm in the middle. So we'll see. I'm loving the details, you know, the just the life in Paris, just the life at this time, not necessarily in Paris. The prices, you know, the money, the wood you had to buy to warm your own room. Interesting details. And in the last chapter I read, he and his wife visited Gertrude Stein, and you know, the very fact and the details and their conversation. I love this. I can't say this genre in literature because I love it anywhere. Like, just imagining that James Joyce was sitting right here where I am now standing, for example. It's a little bit of a fangirling, but a little bit of this concept of time passing by, concept of change with this time, concept of life going on, no matter if you are one of the greatest writers, or you are just a tourist, or you are a painter, or maybe you are homeless. It's just something is going on. Something is always going on. And that's it. Even remembering the theory of everything that I read by Stephen Hawking, that I read a couple of months ago, it gives me perspective. Like, there may be great writers, there may be homeless people, there may be me somewhere in between, but this will go on, and then it will stop. Then there will be no people, for example, but it will go on. Then there will be no sun or no earth, but it will go on somehow. It's a very interesting concept that I don't understand, to be honest, fully. I probably have to read The Theory of Everything 100 times to get a little bit closer. But and the fact that he published it, he wrote it in, I'm not sure, 50, 59, 60, maybe from 59 to 61. But this is about the time, about 40 years ago for him when he was writing it. He is writing about 40 years ago. And the story, how and why he wrote it, that's all about the same thing that I just talked about, you know. That's amazing, amazing. These are the 2 books of the week. I can't promise that you will see both of them next time. If one of them doesn't appear, just act like this is supposed to happen. Act normal, okay? This is it. I haven't even finished my tea because I was talking so much. Thank you for being with me, as always. Tell me how you are. Tell me what you're working on right now. Tell me what's your craft. Tag me in some videos you think I might enjoy or might help me in my skills, especially sewing skills. Tell me, are there people who quilt? Do you quilt? Do you quilt? Do you do patchwork? I cannot stress enough how many videos I watched about quilting and patchwork. This was Julia and Julia's Knitting. See you next time. Bye bye.